Hello, and welcome to Talk, Therapy, Heal, a dynamic and engaging show that endeavors to shatter the many stigmas surrounding mental health and therapy. Talk, Therapy, Heal is a collective of licensed counselors, therapists, and life coaches unique in areas of specialization, expertise, and experience. Through the art of curated, genuine, compassionate conversation, we get to the deep things. We are so excited you chose to begin your healing journey with us. Tune in to Talk, Therapy, Heal. Hello, and welcome to Talk, Therapy, Heal. We are a group of dynamic therapists and counselors offering curated conversations here at Talk Therapy Heal. Join us for season 2.
Hi, I'm Kenya.
Hey, I'm Rachel.
Hey, I'm Larisha.
Hey, I'm Nikki.
Hello, everyone. It is Chantra, better known as your girl, Shan. So welcome to another episode of Talk Therapy Heal. We had a wonderful series that we previously had, but it was still in season 2, so we're continuing on. But this one is relationship. Because that's one thing that we have had conversation about that a lot of individuals are struggling with. So we're going to be talking about that. Me, myself, and I. Let's get into it.
All right.
That's good. So tell us first, when you talk about me, myself, and I, what does that mean?
Well, what we want you all to think about is this. Oftentimes we devote, I guess we could say, a lot of time into having a relationship with others, having a relationship with a girlfriend, a boyfriend, our spouses, family. But when it comes to ourselves, many individuals struggle, if we can be honest, with having a relationship with themselves. What does that look like? So, I'm excited.
Me I am too. So what does it look like? Like, okay, I'm going to ask this question for the table. Do you all feel like you have a good relationship with yourself?
I say, yeah. I have a good relationship. I mean, I got areas I got to work on for sure. But yeah, I love myself. I'm compassionate towards myself.
Okay.
I'm aware, you know what I mean, of myself. Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah. I would say now I do.
Absolutely.
Of course, I hadn't always because I was never taught how to have a relationship with myself or what that even looked like and or my struggle in giving myself permission to have a relationship with myself. Come on, somebody. Is that it's often seen as selfish.
Right.
Not, you don't focus on self because that's selfish. And so I've not always I've had to learn to have. But now, oh yes, yes I do.
Okay.
I love it.
Say it's like me over here.
I would say I'm a lot better now
Okay.
than I was in the past. And a lot of that goes back to the socialization issues that a lot of men have. We are taught not to express our emotions at times. And so you're taught to hold that in, but you're never taught how to deal with it. So you never really feel as though you can express yourself. And if you can't express yourself, you can't say what's going on, how you feel to understand what do I need to do to make things better for me. In the same light, for a lot of men, we're taught go to work, take care of the house, pay the bills, everything will be all right. Nowhere in there that says anything about self-care, loving yourself, or doing something for you. It's always for others. So that is something that I personally went through, that I've had to learn how to gear myself down and pay more attention to myself. Because when I pay more attention to myself, I learned how to regulate myself, and it comes out better for my family and those individuals that are around me.
That's good. That's good. What about you, Rachel?
I would say yes. And in areas, I would say yes, but I'm growing in other areas. So I was thinking about the definition of relationship, and it is the state of being connected.
Yeah.
So So one area that I'm learning to connect in is my diet and my stomach and listening and not going against it, even though my tongue wants something. Like, I need to be connected. So
Yeah.
I would say yes in some areas and no in others.
I can agree with that. I can definitely agree with that. And to your point too, Shan, just now developing
Yes.
that relationship with myself. So it took a minute for me to get here. Of course, we are learning as we're growing or going in life how to be connected with oneself. And when you don't have that foundation of how to be connected, it makes it a little difficult for you to connect with self. And so I am at a place now where I feel like I am connecting with me. I am understanding me. I am understanding my likes, my dislikes. I'm developing who Nikki is.
Yeah.
And I won't say it's a sad thing that it started so late in life. It's a beautiful thing. It's been a beautiful journey for me. I just wish I would have had more understanding about it earlier on. And I think that's the thing. So in our talk today about me, myself, and I feel like developing or helping people to develop what the foundational piece look like. So maybe they don't wait until they're in their 30s, 40s, or 50s to connect with themselves. That maybe that connection for them can start because they're in their teens, or for the child who may be listening, or the mother who is listening, who can help their child connect with themselves at an early age so that they're not kind of scrambling, trying to figure that out later on in life.
Yeah. I would say, to your point, it's about like getting to the core of who you are, like finding out like what really like shapes you, your beliefs, experiences, maybe even, your identity, could be found in the roles, you know what I mean, that you experience. But
I agree.
what are your values?
Yeah.
What are your values?
Wow. I'm listening to you and I'm hearing, sorry, couldn't help word counselor. So we're going to counselor mode. But what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing, what I hear all of us say is it's internal.
Yes.
You have to dig deep. And what I see in society is external.
Yes.
So, I'm about self. I'm doing me. Whatever cliches are currently out there now. It's you could really tell, I guess, if a person's really having building a relationship with themselves and truly understanding the core of themselves by what they say out their mouth.
Absolutely.
Because if it's no, I'm doing me. It's me time. It's this, that, and the other. It's generally associated with something external, material, or something like that. But just something as simple as, wow, I hear what you just said, Rachel. And you may say, well, why are you looking like that? Because I'm actually reflecting. I'm actually taking the time to think. I'm actually taking the time to take in what you're saying. And if you know how that can connect, how we can connect, even though we're talking about relationship with self, but being aware, like, I could take in what she's saying and actually relate it to myself. Or as we say, to make it plain, I can eat the meat and spit out the bones.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
I like
good.
what you're saying, because what the external, right? You were saying a lot of people do feel like the connection starts, or understanding who they are is the external things. And it's not. That self-awareness is what we're talking about, really being self-aware. It is not about just knowing your favorite things or being able to cover yourself up with whatever you deem to make you happy. But it's about understanding what drives you.
Absolutely.
It's about understanding the wounds you carry. It's about how you typically respond to life's ups and downs.
Right.
This is what truly connects you with you. It's when you can understand those types of things. So you are absolutely right. I see it a lot. People will, I'm going to do this and this makes me happy. I'm going to do that. And it's all external. I think I made a post or did a video or said something about just being authentically me, showing up in the capacity that I can show up in without trying to be what others deem I should be. So I'm not covering up with the makeup, the clothing, the hair and the nails and all of the things. Now y'all gonna see me today. I got a little bit of makeup. I got my nails done, but that's not what makes me
Right. Yes.
me, right?
Absolutely.
It's those things that we've been talking about, like truly knowing and being connected within.
Right. And I like what everybody is saying. And I want to kind of take what you've all said and wrap it up into something. I'm hoping I'm not jumping too far ahead. But we talked about connections that Rachel talked about. We talked about looking internal and what we really need to do. When we talk about relationships, when we say it's about connections, it's important that we connect within ourselves first. Because when we get ready to have a relationship with someone else, what are you connecting to at that point?
Mm-hmm.
I can't take a 110 volt item and plug it into 220. It's going to blow it up. And that's what happens in a lot of relationships because we don't take care of ourselves on the inside. When we plug into somebody else, we wonder why we have all these issues in the relationship.
Mr. King.
Stop
Look,
it.
pause. Almost like Rachel
Stop
said.
it. Stop it.
He said blow it
One
up.
team. We
To
got
a 220. Okay, tell the people what a 110 is for
So,
those who are electronically challenged.
So,
right.
Here in the United States, all of our electricity that runs in our homes is 110 volts. Overseas in Germany, it's 220 volts. So if you plug a 110 into a 220, it's too much voltage, it blows it up. It's not built for that. It's not a good connection. So sometimes we have a lot of individuals that are walking in with 110 internals, plugging it into 220s, and you wonder why your relationships are burning up.
Or wait. Can we even apply that to just the inner person, the inner self? Like self?
Absolutely, because if we don't deal with the things that are on the inside of us and understand how that works, then we'll never know who or what we're not supposed to plug into.
So let me say the word is awareness.
Absolutely.
Yes.
There you
Yes.
You know, awareness, I just give the definition. It's the knowledge and understanding that something is happening.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
you have to have that self-awareness.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? How's your body responding? What are you feeling?
Yeah, going back to how are you responding to things?
Yes.
What's your
happening?
wounds? What is taking place inside of you? So okay, we know then people have to become aware. How do they become aware?
You have to slow down long enough
Come on.
There you go.
to hear.
Right.
Yes.
You know, like say for instance, we were just talking about like dating your spouse. Remember yesterday we were talking about this?
Yes.
And you said he asked for your number or something. You said, I'll give you my email. Right? Why?
Yeah.
And he said, why? You know, and it's because I need time to get to know you.
Right.
Right? Before I open myself and open my ear to hear what you have to say. Write what you need to say before I just give you my ear.
Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Because what the ear, we're taking in so much. If I read it, I'm choosing to take it in.
You can decide no.
I don't know that on the line. But if I give you my ear, then I'm allowing you to speak things into me that I might not even need or want in that moment. Oh my God.
All internal.
All internal.
Coming inside.
All internal.
Yeah.
All internal. Oh my God. I love it. So we be having off camera conversations.
Can we just say this?
Yes.
So awareness, just adding to what you shared, is the ability to introspectively
Come on.
recognize,
Oh.
right, and understand our own emotions, our own thoughts,
Yes.
and our own behaviors.
Yes.
So adding to,
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah.
So then to understand that, you got to ask yourself questions. What am I feeling?
Where am I feeling it?
What triggered me?
Absolutely.
That's good.
Lean into your faith too on here. I want y'all to lean into your faith, but ask yourself, why did that trigger me?
Right.
What just happened? So being introspective and really leaning into those emotions, those feelings, sitting in it. Most people don't like to sit in anything because it's uncomfortable.
Oh,
uncomfortable.
that's good, Nikki. And I like what she said, and I want to make that connection. Rachel said awareness. Nikki said sitting into it. In order for you to be aware and really sit in it, you got to block everything else out.
Yep.
You got to spend some time with yourself. On top of that, once you've spent that time with yourself, another part of awareness is what is going on around me? What are other people saying? Husband and wives. If your wife is constantly telling you blah, 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 you may want to ask yourself the question, why? And so sometimes it's aware of what's going on with other individuals and what they're telling you so that you can take that in to answer some of those same questions. Why do I get triggered when my wife says this? Why do I react this way if my husband says this? That's all a part of you being able to take different things in to assess the situation, spend time with yourself to get the answers that you need to know to respond or act accordingly so you don't get a hostile environment.
Yeah, see, I got my church finger up.
Okay. Go ahead, girl.
All of this. Oh my God. I'm trying to contain and hold my mule. I'm saying the country because I'm ready to shout. It makes me think about like what you are saying. You're speaking about how to identify and be aware within yourself. But the reality of what a lot of us see when individuals come to us, and I'm not trying to speak for everybody, but y'all can agree or not agree. When they come to us in the counseling room, yes, I'm ready for counseling. I'm ready for counseling because I want things to change. I want things to change. I want things to change. Now, even though I know some of us are relationship counselors, we do the whole relationship marriage dynamic. We also see individuals. And so at this point, when the counselor is starting to assist you or walk alongside of you, like we like to say, to identify some of the things within you that may be wrong, even your mouth saying, I want to do this. I want to change. Yes, I'm going to do the work. But when we get to that point of really identifying some of the things, come on, counselors out there, we get ghosted. We get individuals that start making excuses. Even in a relationship dynamic, when I'm not really ready to recognize that I may be the problem. Guess what we do? I'm blaming him. And I'm blaming my sister. And I'm blaming my best friend. And I'm blaming my cousin. Because I'm really not ready to sit, like you all said, in that quiet space. Because what do? We give homework.
Yes.
Okay, your homework assignment is sit 15 to 30 minutes a day.
Daily.
Come on now. Come on now.
Prescribe it.
In a quiet place with yourself.
Yes.
And a lot of individuals struggle with that. But I must be fair in saying a lot of us have never been taught. We've never seen it modeled in our upbringing, if you will. And we've always been taught to, I don't want to say indoctrinate, that's kind of strong, but that's for future. It's been modeled for us that you run 1,000 miles an hour and you don't sit down and you have to overachieve on the job and you have to be super saint in the church and you have to be super community activist and all these things. But when did you do your homework that your counselor prescribed that said 15 to 30 minutes a day? You need to sit in quiet. So then when your counselor said, well, did you do your homework? No, because I really didn't have time. How many of y'all heard that? So did you really not have time? Or was it what, and this may have been before we came on earth, we had conversation, you chose not to have time.
Absolutely.
So do you really want to get to know who you are and all the beautiful things that these amazing counselors said in just the last few minutes?
Yeah.
The thing that when you were talking about when we hit a soft spot, if you will, we hit a wound for a client and they want to ghost or they start canceling appointments. And then when they come back, one of my questions, going back to what I said earlier today, is what triggered you? And why did I trigger you? What I asked you to do or what I said to you, why was that triggering for you? Because I sensed a shift. There was a shift. Either you, again, canceled appointments. And I have no problem with calling clients out when they cancel because I can feel it. I know, oh, she going to cancel that next appointment because this was heavy. It was heavy and it hit her hard or hit him hard. So they're probably going to cancel, and they'll schedule another appointment, but they need some time to process it. They need some time to get through it. But the thing is the awareness of it all is sometimes it's too much for people at one time, especially when they haven't had the or they haven't made the time to sit down and actually sit with themselves and feel what they feel. When you bring it on in therapy, it's like, ooh, whoa, hold up. That's too much. So that self-awareness, like you said, prescribing that 15 to 30 minutes. I even tell some clients, hey, just give me 5 minutes. Give me 5 minutes for you.
Right.
I'm asking for you to give me 5 minutes with you, for you to sit down and just do absolutely nothing and sit with yourself. When you practice daily self-awareness, it increases your clarity. It opens your mind up. It opens you up to feel and understand you better. We're talking about me, myself, and I. We're talking about connecting with me, myself, and I. And so self-awareness and taking that time to sit with yourself brings about clarity. It allows you to navigate your emotions more skillfully. You learn what emotions are. We're going to probably talk about emotional intelligence. So it gives you understanding to what you're feeling. But if you don't sit for that 5 minutes, 15 minutes, you're going to be running around here being someone else or who everybody else want you to be.
Oh, that's good. And what I heard both of you saying in a literal sense is accountability. Wow. Once you realize what is the cause of your trigger and why you feel a certain way, you have to stay there and sit in it in order to try to figure out how to move forward. It's no different than going to the doctor. If you pull a muscle or something, what is he going to say? Where does it hurt? And then he feels. So you have to feel that feeling for yourself. And then you have to go to that area that you felt that's hurt so that you can say it's 10 to here. On a scale of 1 to 10, what is your pain level? It's 5. Now you're getting down into the intricate details of how you're going to start really understanding yourself at a better level and what works for you as pertaining to a relationship with yourself. But I can agree with everybody here. I think a lot of people don't spend that time to really just stop, sit down, and say, this is for me. A second part of what I hear you guys saying is what we do for other people.
Yeah.
I would tell anybody is be you. If you want to wear a pair of horn-rimmed glasses because you think you look good in it, you wear those horn-rimmed glasses. Because when you are comfortable with yourself, it doesn't matter what everything else is going on around everybody else. And what the world has taught us to believe is that when somebody is different, something is wrong with them. When somebody is different, something is wrong. But this is what I say. If everybody was the same, we would have a boring world.
Ooh, right.
So be comfortable within yourself and who you are. But that begins with everything that we talked about here. Awareness, loving yourself. I used to tell people this. King, who are you going to the prom with? I'm going with 3 people. What? Me, myself, and I can be comfortable. That's it. I can be comfortable with being alone. And because of that, I started a journey to be more aware. I had some shifts, I had some detours and things of that nature, but now I'm okay. I'm comfortable with who I am because most people present me, well, you're a guy, you're educated, you dress well, you have a nice house, car, but they don't know that other side of me. I would go to the country, go camping, kill something. I'm comfortable with who I am. And when I'm comfortable with me, I feel better about myself. And I don't have to worry about other people say because I love me, I love myself, and I love I.
Okay.
Me and myself and I just caught that.
Yes. I was thinking about something practical that I've done for myself and with my clients is one of the barriers is that inner self-talk that says I don't have time to sit with myself or I have to do this today. And so one of the things that I've practiced personally in my clients is that I literally write down my thoughts about the topic, right? And so if the topic is connecting with myself, I will write connecting with myself and I will literally write the thoughts that I have about connecting. I'm afraid to.
Ooh,
it's scary. Or I hear clients that say, once I start crying, I can't stop. Or just like literally acknowledge what you think and feel by writing. Something happens when we write. We're able to see it on paper. We can connect with it. So I just want to encourage you to do this exercise. And as you're choosing to sit, okay, don't be afraid of your thoughts. Acknowledge them by writing them down, just sitting. Like, so we say sit, which means don't judge yourself for thinking that way.
That's good.
Don't shame yourself for feeling this way. Don't bring guilt onto yourself because you're currently thinking negative about your life or your situation. Just sit with no judgment and acknowledge this is how I think and feel about me.
That's good.
What I'm hearing
That's
is that creates emotional regulation.
Yes.
You are regulating your emotions, not suppressing them,
Right.
without fear, without judgment, without guilt, without shame, without all of the negative emotions that you've been feeling. You can just embrace exactly who you are in that moment without anything else attached to it. So it allows you to respond in a much more healthy and balanced way to you. I love that. I have one of the strategies to kind of not counteract, Lord Jesus, no, complement that as well. And it's pause, pray, and then proceed. Pause, pray, and then proceed.
The 3 P's.
Yes.
Yes.
I like
So when when you feel emotions feel intense, pause to take a deep breath, pray for calmness and guidance, and then proceed with clarity.
I think that's good.
It is.
Yeah.
That's good. So I'm gonna jump on.
Okay.
So you talked about the thoughts that may impact us in our, I guess, moments of awareness or introspection. Introspection. Oh, I can talk today. But along the lines of emotional regulation, sometimes it's difficult to identify like what we're feeling. Like I can ask a client, well, how are you today? Or what are you feeling today? And they'll respond by giving me a thought.
Yeah.
They'll respond by giving me a thought. And so I'll let them go through their whole spiel. And then I say, you didn't answer my question. I said, how do you feel? And then I, encourage them. This is a feeling word. I feel sad. I feel disappointed. I feel happy. But I think with emotional regulation, you got to identify,
Yes.
you know what I mean, what that emotion is. But not only that, you got to attune. There's some cues. You know what I mean? There are things that happen within us physically before we even like really know like what that feeling is. Like for me, if I'm angry, I feel hot inside, or I feel like my head is about to pop up. Right? I'm just being honest. Yeah. And so those are physiological cues that I could take that would assist me in identifying the emotion. But not only that, what do I do with the heat? What do I feel? What do I do with when I feel like my head is going to pop off? Then I shift to the why. Right. And we talked about the triggers, you know what I mean, a little bit earlier. Like, is it a specific event? Is it a specific memory? Is it a specific smell or taste that has triggered us? Because our senses, you know what I mean, impact how we feel and what we think. And then we can pause, right? Before we react. So, but yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That is really good. Identify. So, and we use this word or terms all the time, the emotional intelligence. Like you have to have language for that emotion that you're feeling to be able to identify that it is anger. Is it anger or is it disappointment?
Yeah.
Because sometimes we can we use words that really doesn't really apply to what we're truly feeling. You have some clients that say, well, I'm sad. Okay. Most people, and I think we talked about this in episodes before, where there's like 4 or 5 basic feelings that people feel, and that's all that they know, and without understanding that there's plenty of other emotions that you're feeling, but they don't have words to identify what it is. But when you sit down and kind of break that thing down, you know,
Right.
that feeling. What am I feeling in my body? What just happened? And then putting a word to it, it helps you to understand more. Okay, this is this. So I'm not just angry. I am disappointed.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would say too, like just the tool is to Google emotion wheel or emotional
Yes.
wheel.
That's exactly what I had in my mind.
There you go.
I'm gonna bring my pillow, y'all.
I wish we could upload this somehow because
I know.
they need the language, right?
Yes.
And then I really enjoy what you said about the physiology of like smelling around you or you know just kind of tapping into like what's the temperature code that made me think of that time that I was lost outside because da 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 like really tap
Yes.
into your five senses.
Yes.
And what word did you use? Like
Attune.
attune, just being attuned.
Yes.
Yeah. So I just wanted to linger with that.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Being attuned.
But then that's that thing. You won't be able to attune if you don't learn how to sit.
Mhm.
Like you have to be able to, okay,
Grounding.
yes, grounding.
Yes.
Ground yourself because you will never be able to truly feel what you feel to be able to know, okay, my body just reacted to that cold, this coldness. Where did that take me? Your thoughts took you there. Your body is already there. Well, your body is there. I don't know. The thought haven't caught up yet. But your body, remember, the body keeps the score. The body remembers the things that it has experienced in the past. So it responds to things in a way that it remembered when an event maybe happened 5 years ago. The body doesn't forget that. The mind might take and suppress it and dismiss it, but the body feels it. And the body typically responds with what it knows, that basis, that foundation that it learned in that very first time that it experienced that is exactly what you're going to experience in things in future or that you're triggered by, right? So that thing that comes up, so I feel cold. Okay, I was just triggered, but I don't know that I was triggered. It's cold. It took me back to, like you said, that thing that happened when I was locked outside in the cold and da 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 da. And now I then went down the hamster wheel. The body then took you there,
all the way
Absolutely.
back.
all the way back. And the mind hasn't caught up to it. But if you can sit with yourself, then you understand that you can bring your mind up to what the body just experienced and you can emotionally regulate what you're feeling in that moment. Because then that's at the point you could tell yourself, this is not happening.
Yes.
Right. I'm safe.
I'm safe. That happened. It's not happening. But if you don't sit down, you won't know. And your body is going to start popping off, saying things, doing things. And you're like, I didn't know. I didn't want to respond. Like, I didn't. You don't have control.
Yeah. So commit. I just want to say, I just want to encourage your listeners to commit to 5 to 10 minutes a day. Like make a vow that you're worth time
Oh, that's good.
and to sit. It doesn't matter what time of the day.
Oh,
It doesn't. Like the hour is 24 hours. So if you saying I need to sit at 3 a.m. and your day really start at 10, whatever, give yourself 5 to 10 minutes a day. Just commit. I want you to make this commitment with me that we're going to do this.
That's
Because-
good. That's good.
what is it costing you when you don't give yourself that 5 to 10 minutes? That cost, are you willing to keep paying the cost of not giving yourself 5 to 10 minutes out of a 24-hour time period?
Girl.
24 hours.
You know what I hear?
What?
Value. Me, myself, and I. How much am I worth?
Yes.
And, for a lot of people, as I sit here and I look at this feelings wheel, it's like you said, the body keeps the score. For a lot of people, they have a lot of hard times valuing themselves because what has happened to them in the past. One of the words that I see on here was like stressed. So as a child, Mom, I just feel stressed out. Oh, you know what? Go over there and stress on the dishes.
Wait a
and
minute.
Even heard that before.
Yeah.
So
Oh my
now
God.
that you have felt that stress and you verbalized that to somebody, now you've took in what they had on them and you always go back to that same thing. So whenever I start feeling stressed, the immediate thing that I'm going to do is going to do something with my hands to try to forget about that. And we can't do that. It's like Nikki said, we've got to sit in it. So the trick that I have that I learned and doing a lot of video trainings at my job is we can't take the bait. And I asked you guys a question: how does the fish get caught? Because they always take the bait. If they don't take the bait, they never get caught up in a situation where now somebody else has control. You have to look at yourself and say, when I'm triggered.
Hold on, Miss King, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. What's the bait? What would be an example of the bait that you
A
take?
good example of the bait is someone says something that triggers you and you automatically respond in a negative way.
Okay, so that trigger, the bait is the trigger, and the way you respond to it is how you are then being controlled.
Absolutely. Because if you give that person more power over you, then every time they say something, every time they do something, it's going to make you feel in a negative way. So if you don't take the bait, then there's no way they can have that power and control.
So then you take the
You take back, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh my God.
And so it can be something. Yeah.
Okay.
You have to take back your power and your control. Don't take the bait. Shan just said it. When she had that experience with the individual down in Austin, she could have went so far. She could have went so far left,
baby.
But once again,
I would have went to jail.
Yeah. But once again, we have to learn our feelings and regulate that emotion and learn how to respond. Now, I can take this from a biblical setting. When Jesus was in the wilderness, 40 days, 40 nights, when he was tempted by the enemy, he knew how to respond.
He didn't take the bait.
He didn't take the bait.
He didn't take the bait.
So number one, you have to understand who you are as yourself and who you are as a child of God. Because when people present certain things that make you feel, you have to understand you have that control to say, which direction am I going? So people say, oh, that person made me mad. No, they didn't.
Nobody can make
them.
There you go.
Yeah, I say that to clients all the time. No one can make you do anything. You choose
There you go.
to do.
Did you say choose? What did you just say?
I was rolling in the spirit. I don't even remember what I said. I know that I wrote that to say, but I was rolling in the spirit.
Okay. But no, I love what you said.
Oh, you allow them to. That's what I said.
To. Okay. But and then you said that you have to learn how to respond.
Absolutely.
And not be reactive.
Absolutely.
Learn how to respond.
And that's key.
Yeah. If you don't mind, I would like to speak to something very important, especially in this day and time that you may mention: stress. People, listen, I'm going to speak from a direct patient care and mental health perspective. People always speak to, this is the silent killer. That's the silent killer. Stress is the silent killer. When you cannot regulate yourself, and we're speaking about emotional regulation, you do not understand, because a lot of times we don't realize we're stressed and we're stressed. And you all made mention of it earlier. It manifests and it always shows itself in our body. But if you're not in attunement with your body, with yourself, you'll just continue to go and go and go. And then your body starts to shut down. It attacks you 9 times out of 10 mentally. Because as we always speak about getting to the root, Rachel, it attacks you mentally. And so what I wanted to share real quick, I was thinking about stress, but I was thinking about what it looks like. Now, y'all spoke about my situation in Austin. But another thing is, when I was in Austin at a training, I received, it's like news upon news upon news upon news. Here I am sitting here trying to remain focused. But I wanted to cry, wanted to go, and it was stressing me out. Let's be honest. Or let's be clear, as everybody's been saying. But it was stressing me out. And so you're talking about, I want you all to think about how stress could potentially come in and what it could look like when you're in tune with yourself. How you would have reacted if you were not in tune with yourself. And how, when you've done the work, you went to your therapist, you stayed committed to the process, and you are actually seeing the benefits and the rewards thereof. Because we have to understand this. Just because we worked on something in therapy to be better for ourselves, me, myself, and I, does not mean that things are not going to show us ugly head to take us back there.
Absolutely.
But like we are all saying, it's how we react. how we think about it. Okay, if I go off on this person, I could very well go to jail. And then that's money that I don't have and da-da-da. A lot of times when people don't know me, myself, and I, we make excuses.
That's good.
We make excuses. Well, that's just how I am.
Yeah.
That's just how I am.
That's the one.
Take it or leave it. Well, what you want me to do? Slow. You know what I'm saying? Like, bring it down and stuff like that. And so, as I was sitting there in the training, I received news about a death in the family. I received news about, and as a veteran, this is something that I've had to work on within myself. Certain situations trigger me when I don't feel safe. So I received news about an incident that took place at the workplace in which I work. So that was challenging as well. Then I had to deal with the incident that they spoke of. So I found my body starting to dysregulate in my emotions. And as I sit there and I'm trying to remain focused on this training that I'm in, I found myself grounding myself. If you all remember an episode where Larisha walked us through how to ground yourself, breathing technique.
Go back and look at it.
Please go back and look at it. And it was at the end of one of our episodes. And I did it and didn't even realize I was doing it. So I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. No one around me is aware that I am dysregulated and ready to run out of this room. So ask yourself and be real with yourself as we speak about me, myself, and I. Are you really in tune with yourself? Because how you act will answer that question.
Yeah.
That's good. And, you know, I like what you said about stress. And most people, when they hear that word stress, it's always negative. What we have to understand is there's good stress, and I believe that's called eustress, and there's bad stress that's called distress. The good stress helps you to perform at a higher level. That good stress may look like somebody on the football team, and they're down by 3 points. And because they feel stressed that the game is almost over with, that makes them perform at a higher level. That bad stress is when we become just too overwhelmed because we keep taking stuff on and on and on, and now we don't know what to do. If we don't handle that bad stress in a healthy way, unhealthy things will come about. And sometimes what we try to do is we try to medicate.
Yeah.
We turn to alcohol. We turn to drugs. We turn to porn and things of that nature that makes us feel good from a temporary standpoint. But what we're trying to say as therapists is that you have to do the work to learn yourself so that you get a permanent feel about yourself that's good.
You know what I hear, Mr. King? You have to have self-compassion.
Absolutely.
You have to have self-compassion. And that means you treat yourself how you will treat a friend.
How you would want to be treated too. Yeah.
Well, see, some people don't know how they want to be treated because they don't know who they are. So that makes it a little bit more difficult for you to identify, you know, how you want to be treated, but you know how you will treat someone else because we tend to place other people at a higher value than we do ourselves.
Absolutely.
Right? So how I treat others.
Okay.
Right. You can't rush to that. I like to say that too.
That's
we got to sit in there for just a couple minutes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Can you remember what you just said? Because I'm sitting in it.
Yeah.
So we place a higher value on others than we do ourselves. So we don't have that compassion. So we don't know how to treat ourselves. So you said, treat others how you want to be treated. And I hear that a lot. Treat others how you want to be treated. Well, if I don't know how I want to be treated, how can I treat you any other kind of way or whatever? So, or how can I expect to be treated by you a certain way? Because I am taught, or it has been modeled for me to place a higher value on someone else.
That's true. That scripture that says, love your neighbor as you
Love yourself.
Yeah.
But if you don't know how to love yourself.
So like, but if you love your neighbor, maybe that can give you some insight
on how to love you.
That's good.
Yes.
That's good.
So again, like I said, give that same grace, that same treatment that you would give a friend, give that to you.
So that's almost like saying, you know that somebody needs something, let's say in the office that you work at, and you buy them something to uplift their spirit. And you can do that same thing for yourself. Go buy yourself something. If you can pray for somebody else, pray for yourself.
Pray for yourself.
Jesus, yes.
Oh, yeah. But how many times, and I am guilty of that, even in myself, especially in my earlier days of being saved and understanding who I am in Christ, I would go to the flow for somebody else and pray. But when it's like I go in there and I'm sitting in my prayer closet and it's like, okay, Nikki, pray for you. And I'm just sitting there like, Lord, please help. Lord, help me. Lord, help me. I don't even have words, but I have all the words for everybody else.
Listen, you gonna fast for people.
Yes.
For nations.
Yes.
You do all kind of stuff, baby. You will be on the flow.
Going in. And when it comes to you, you're silent. And that's something that God had to show me. It was like, how can you be so vocal about other people, but then when you come into my presence, you're silent about you? And I'd be sitting there like, God, I don't even know what to say.
It goes back to feeling unworthy.
I didn't know my value.
That's good.
Unworthiness. So why would I?
And you know what I hear you saying, Nikki, is, we have to take care of ourselves at a greater level, but it reminds me of every time I take a trip with my spouse, or sometimes if I have to go by myself, you get on that plane and they give you that spiel about how your seatbelt works and what happens if you're in an emergency. What do they always tell you about your mask?
Put yours on first.
Put your mask on first.
Yes.
You got to take care of yourself first so that you're able at that point to potentially help somebody else. And I can just imagine being in a plane and that mask comes down. Oh, sir, you're elderly. Let me. And then you go.
Smooth.
Yeah. You take care of yourself and put your mask on. So now you're able to breathe, and then you can help other individuals.
Strategies. I know she do.
I
know she do. But I want to say this, and then you go speak because I know you got something else to say. When we're talking about understanding or creating for ourselves that self-compassion and taking care of ourselves, the one thing I like to use scripture because I like to speak who God says that I am, right? As I am building Nikki, and God is building me. I'm just following his plan. At least I'm trying my best, or I'm working on it. I'm working on it. The scripture that comes to me is the one that I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And God's grace is sufficient for me. So if God's grace is sufficient for me, what I'm worried about? Ugly well stuff.
Yes.
Why? I want to also say this, that being kind to yourself is not self-indulgent. It's essential for growth. You need it. You need to indulge in you. So all of those things, not what we were talking about, or when we talk about self-care, and I hope we get into that, because self-care isn't about getting your nails done or getting a facial, or especially if you just go get it and it's just like a check mark off.
Right.
Have you ever had your nails done and you felt them working with your hands? Have you ever had a facial and you felt what it feels like to have them touching your skin, touching your face? Have you ever had your feet done and you feel what it feels like to have your feet rubbed, to have them pay close attention and detail to your toes? If you ain't felt it, that wasn't self-care.
Right.
It's not self-care. It's maintenance.
Wow.
It's maintenance. Oh my God. It's maintenance. Because the whole time you're sitting there thinking of all of the things you have to get done.
It's just like you go, babbling, you can just drive in, get your oil change. You can sit there and do all these other things. Eat food, talk on the phone. Oh, you done? Cool. Okay, I'm out.
Right. It's maintenance. It's maintenance. But maintenance for what? Because how is it feeding or helping, if you will, I'm going to use the car since we went there. How is that helping the car to continue to run? And I'm not saying the oil change because we know that's essential. But if I go through the drive-through to get my car washed,
it's external.
There you go. External.
That's what we were talking. Yep. It has nothing to do with internal.
Yes. So driving your car through a car wash.
Isn't that's ironic that it's going to go back to people, is We take car through the car wash, we clean the outside, but the inside be tore up.
Dirty inside for the feet and just nasty. And then you got look, and then you got the audacity to be trying to Uber and DoorDash somebody. You can't deliver my food in the inside. Anyway, I digress. Look, inside is not. Yes, Marisha.
Bring us back, Marisha.
Yes, ma'am. Because baby, that's the one. Anyway,
We done went somewhere.
yes.
Personal.
Yeah.
So I was just gonna say, I was thinking about, definitely me, myself, and I. But I was thinking about, in order for us to be aware, in order for us to have that self-compassion, there has to be this safe space that's created, that's built, that we have to build.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like within ourselves. So that safe space could look like sitting with that thought. You know what I mean? That's contrary to my faith. Sitting with that thought that is contrary to what I know to be true. It could look like accepting,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? The strong emotions. I'll call them strong emotions because sometimes we look at emotions as positive and negative. And I think if we look at them as positive, I'm going on a tangent, but if we think as emotions from a positive and negative perspective, then we won't be able to sit. You know, we won't be able to deal with
That's true.
the negative piece. But that safe space, you know what I mean? As we're creating that safe space, we'll be able to feel, I'm just going to be real, pissed off. You know what I mean? We'll be able to feel, and this is strong. We may be feeling the resentment or the hatred or the bitterness.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The rejection,
Yeah.
the abandonment. You know what I mean? But that safe space, if we can create that, then we're better able to process the emotions, you know, within it.
Strong emotion. I love that.
And that's when you said that, I typically, because I don't use the word negative with my clients, I always say strong emotion, and especially if I'm writing a note or things like that. Like, had a strong emotion or a strong emotion, and then I'll ask them, let's dig a little bit more into that strong emotion because that seems to have a hold on you. Let's identify where it's coming from. What's the root of it? Yeah. So you are absolutely right with the whole negative aspect, because who wants to sit in something that is negative or has a negative connotation to it? We're always trying to escape the negative because the negative is associated with pain or hurt. And no one ever wants to hurt or feel pain. We're wanting to always hurry up and get to the other side. I want to feel good. We always want to feel good. Which is so understanding that sometimes when we feel the strong emotions, it helps us to stay on the feel good side a whole lot longer if we feel it than if we ignore it.
Absolutely.
Because now we're more in control of it.
Yeah. I share with my clients, I'm sorry.
You good.
Just real quick. I share with them that it's neutral. Emotions are neutral. And they're like, how can it be neutral when I feel real pissed off and I'm real, you know what I mean? Like real angry. But just think about it. If we can look at emotions as like indicators, as warnings, like I always, share with my clients, red light, yellow light, green light. You know what I mean? Emotions are that yellow light. It's an indicator that something is happening. You know what I mean? It's something that's going on, you know what I mean, within me or maybe even around me, you know what I mean, that I need to take note of.
Yeah.
So not only am I having relationship with me, you know what I mean, eventually, I'm going to make connections with others on the outside.
Yeah. What were you going
Man. Okay, so we were just talking about children. So, my children are younger, are the youngest ones, in this circle. And I think about my time as a school social worker. And, when they see kids who act out because their emotions are so strong, they label them as
bad kids, problematic kids. Yeah.
And they just simply having strong emotions. So parents, caregivers, if your child is having strong emotions, help them to sit and identify what is triggering them. They're not bad. Stop mislabeling your children. Stop mislabeling children in our community. They're having strong emotions and they don't know what to do with them.
Right. Try to build up energy.
That is so good. I just really hope, as we have been in this show, this episode, that you all decide, if you haven't already, to make yourself a priority. And although many of us, it has not been modeled, although many of us, it has not been, and I'm not trying to summarize the show, it's just like what is coming to me it's, you may find it challenging. Make the decision to choose you, because a lot of times we are continuing and we have put the onus on everyone else to make us who we are. And as I'm listening to all of you all speak, one of the things that come to my mind when I have just general conversation, and this is just not even in the counseling room, is people will make the statement, and I'm not bashing anybody because I was people, to say, I don't know who I am. I don't know my purpose, especially when you speak about God. I don't know what God called me to be, but we're steady running and doing. And we often will fall into mimicking what we see in the world, mimicking what we see on TV, I'm trying to be Rachel, but God didn't call me to be Rachel. God called me to be me. And I can't walk out, and I'm not trying to preach. I'm just saying, this is my own personal journey. I can't walk out who God called me to be if I'm trying to be Rachel and walk out who God called her to be. But I don't know who God called her to be because I'm not her. So I'm mimicking.
You guessing.
Come on, because I'm not willing to take the time to make myself a priority. And I don't know who I am. Some people, because these young kids don't know who we are. 50, 60, 70, 80 years old and still don't know who you are. So make the time. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Take the time, make the time. And don't wait until you get old, because we may not get old. Let's just be honest.
Tomorrow's not promised.
Oh, y'all. Okay. So I hate to say this.
Man.
But we are at the end of this. We have to wrap it up, y'all. We have to. I want to leave it. I want us to have our last statement that we would leave the people with. And so I think mine is more closely related to what you were just saying about trying to be someone else. I feel like this me, myself, if I could talk, me, myself, and I episode, I feel like really gives you the permission to be a work in progress, but more importantly, to be God's work in progress. Allow yourself to be God's work in progress.
I already said my piece, Miss Larisha.
I would just say, take the leap to be introspective. Take the leap to be introspective.
I will go back to my main point of journaling your inner thoughts, your inner dialogues, because once you expose it, you can do something about it.
Absolutely. I would say when it comes to me, myself, and I, taking care of yourself is not selfish, it's necessary.
Thank you all so much. We just want to say again, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for taking the time to tune in to Talk Therapy Heal. As I always say, I hope that something that was said on this show penetrates you in a way that causes you to want to make change in your life. Show up, show out, be who you are. But before you do all of that, don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and hit the notification bell so you'll know it when we're on. Again, thank you for tuning in to Talk Therapy Heal. Bye.